Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to do a little bit of doomsday meds. Um, Stuff to have on the shelf when the crap hits the fan and you just can't get regular medicines from your local pharmacy or wherever you happen to shop for your cold remedies or whatever. Um, let's start. Let's start with good old-fashioned iodine. Now iodine, there's two types here. You got your nascent, which is the best one of choice for the young and the old, anybody in between. Most expensive that I know of. Has an alcohol base, and it's the most user-friendly of all your iodine recipes slash formula, whatever you want to call it. It goes to use almost immediately as soon as you put a little bit in your 4-ounce glass of water. Put, say, 4 drops, belt it down. In minutes it'll start working. You can just put a few drops on your tongue, and within a couple of minutes the stain will be gone. It's already in your bloodstream. That's how fast nascent iodine goes to work, which is a good thing, especially in an emergency. Iodine itself, once you've been on it for a while, if you supplement daily, you'll see blood pressure problems back off, diabetes problems back off, even your cholesterol eventually start to balance out. That's not an overnight affair. This will take several months of daily supplementation. The average person starting out would go, say, 2 drops per serving 3 times a day. And then go from there. A couple of interesting things about iodine, either one of these, is after your first week or so of starting to supplement with iodine, an interesting phenomenon happens. You start to get the farts. Yeah, that's right. You get gas. Not stinky gas, just farts. I've had this reported to me by many of my friends and a few relatives that happen to be supplementing with iodine. And best I can gather is once the iodine starts to get to work in your system, and it starts in your stomach, you're starting to get balance, and the gas is a byproduct of that, and that tells you that's good things are going on in your stomach. That goes away in a few days. Now, week number 2 or so, you'll start to experience going to the bathroom more than usual. You're not going to get the runs. You're not going to get anything like that. But you're probably going to almost double your normal amount of poop over the course of the day. This will go on for several days also. That is a good thing also. It's because it's getting rid of poop that's been stuck in the colon and whatnot that just don't have to be there, and your processes are getting better, and well, you're gonna unload a bunch of crap that just doesn't belong in there, which again is another good thing. Now, after a few more weeks, I mean that's week number 2, then you come back to normal, your normal so-called pooping schedule, and you start to feel better. There's no reason in stockpiling poop in your system. which is normal for most people because of the junk food we have and everything else. Your body's not able to process it as well as it should, you know, lack of fiber, blah, blah, blah. So it's all good. And again, as I was saying, as time goes on, you return to your normal bathroom schedule. But you also find, I don't know, after a month or two, that your poop doesn't smell near as bad as it used to. Yeah, I know it's kind of funny, but that again has been reported to me from many friends and family that are happen to be supplementing on iodine. But iodine has a lot more better uses. Like I said, it's great to help your blood pressure if you got a diabetic problem, cholesterol. It is involved in something like 360 enzymatic processes in your body. And when all those processes start to play nice and things start to balance, good things happen. This, I haven't tried this one in that case, but regular Lugol's iodine is fantastic for food poisoning. Let's say you happen to go out one night and you get a bad hamburger or whatever it is, or a taco or whatever it is, and a couple hours later you find yourself really sick, projectile vomiting, the whole song and dance. You take 4 to 6 drops of this in, I say, a 4-ounce cup of water, you know, your average bathroom cup, or say regular glass like this. Fill it about here. Put your 4 drops in there. Swirl the glass around so it stirs in. And gulp it down. Within 2 hours you will be done being sick. On 3 occasions of people I know personally that have gotten a bad burger, so to speak, within a couple hours of that dosage, they're ready to eat again. Pretty amazing stuff. Okay, this is fabulous, fantastic for treating infections, that sort of thing. You cut yourself, you put a few drops on. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Iodine has been used to treat everything from malaria to syphilis to you name it. Just look it up in the old medical archives. It's all over the internet. It's a matter of digging. Oh crap, well, I'm thinking of it. I am not a medical person. I have no formal medical training. This is just things I've found in my research and or experienced personally and or through friends and family. So again, do your homework. Don't take my word for anything, but just thought I'd put it out there. Oh, another thing, you can use iodine for ear infections. A better choice or form for, say, ear infections would be, oops, Iodex. You would take this stuff, it's kind of like a Vaseline, but it has iodine in it, and you would rub it around the outside of the ear, behind the ear, not in the ear of a child or whoever happens to have the ear infection. Remember, ear infections are not true infections. They are, there's a tube in your ears and it allows your ears to drain off excess fluid and stuff. Well, apparently from what I've read, if you have a problem with ear infections, stop the dairy. That's the cheese and the milk and stuff, because some people are sensitive to dairy. Makes your soft palate swell up, clogs that tube. you get a backup of fluid which irritates the ear canal. When your average doctor looks in your ear canal, he sees a red, inflamed, irritated ear canal with his scope, whatever you call that thing, and automatically think, uh-oh, ear infection, so they stuff you up with a bunch of antibiotics, which really don't do anything as it's not infected anyways, and runs its course. Of course, the child, or whoever happens to have it, feels like crap, and of course, the use of antibiotics raises hell with your system and things like that. It's just not a good thing. But yeah, if you have a problem with ear infections, stop the dairy and the ear infections will stop. You just have to be one of those lucky ones that are a little sensitive to dairy products, and it's your soft palate swelling up, clogging off the drainage, and that's where you get in trouble. Okay, we'll go back to the iodine in a minute. Another emergency medication. Oh, by the way, iodine doesn't have a shelf life. There is no use-by dates on these bottles. Best if used by or anything else. I contacted the manufacturer and asked why, and I was told that iodine, being it's a mineral slash a salt, doesn't get old. I mean, if you leave it out in the sun in a hot car or let it freeze overnight, I'm sure that would be good, but stuff is basically good forever. It'll outlive you. Just, keep it stored in a reasonable manner, and it'll be there ready and waiting to help. The next big doomsday kind of medicine to have on the shelf. You can never have too much of it, and it's cheap. There you go. Now, everybody's going, what the heck is this guy talking about? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Baking soda is wonderful stuff. It also makes a great antacid. But you don't want to gyp on this stuff. You don't want some store brand, cheap store brand, and save 10 cents for a pound. Because if you look close at the label, where it says, contents, you might have a allergy warning, may contain peanuts or this and that. So don't save the 5-10 cents. Get the good old-fashioned Arm & Hammer, 100% sodium bicarbonate. It's great for heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, upset stomach due to these symptoms. But as any antacids and most drugs don't play nice together. You don't want to be taking that. If you just took a handful of pills for whatever ails you, you don't want to be chasing that down with a glass full of baking soda, because your pills won't melt properly in your stomach and do what they're supposed to do. So when using this stuff, give yourself a 2-hour window between meals or taking meds. So in other words, if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, you get up out of bed and you got to take, your 3, 4, 5, whatever drugs you have to take in the morning, and then eat breakfast, then wait till 9 o'clock in the morning to have some of this. And 2 hours thereafter, at 11, you'll be fine to eat lunch and take more pills or whatever it is you happen to have to do. Directions to make this into an antacid is you take a half a teaspoon to a half a glass, 4 full ounces of water. Every 2 hours as directed by physician. Dissolve completely in water. Accurately measure a half teaspoon. I do a heaping half teaspoon to about an 8-ounce glass of water. And it's salty. It's It's not delicious by any means, but you know what? After you've done it a few times, it doesn't bother you. This is much healthier than the over-the-counter antacids. I don't have to name them, but you know, Rolaids, Tums, all of them. This is given what your body needs and nothing else. Your body needs bicarbonate in its system to balance out the acid in your blood and tissues. This stuff is fantastic for that. It's also claimed to be a cancer killer. Yep, that's right. Cancer has to live in an acidic environment. They also are talking about cancer being a fungus. This stuff kills fungus, because fungus, again, has to live in a low oxygen, acidic environment. So, if you want to alkalize your body, you'd be taking this stuff, 4 or 5 doses a day, and then you'd want to be using something like this. Now, I'm not suggesting this brand's the best brand. This is what I happen to have on the shelf and what I use. And what you do with these is they're pH strips, test strips. You can get them on Amazon. Now, they're around $10 for a box of 100. This is a box of 100. On the back, you get your little colors. And the best way to tell how you were living in the last 24 hours is your first morning urination. You pee on one of these things and you check the chart and see where you are. And if you come in at, say, 6.25, yeah, that's pretty acidic. You want to be at 7.25 to be balanced. Now, to get aggressive to kill tumors, kill tumors and stuff, you want to start testing out at 8.0. And there are videos on how to do that on YouTube. If you maintain yourself at 8.0 for a few weeks, you can really knock down some tumors. But I'm not going to get into that. I just want you to go and see for yourself and watch the videos and read these other people's information before you jump in on something like that. Alkalizing yourself too much can be very bad. It can be just as bad as being too acidic. Remember, everything's about balance. But anyways, yeah, if you test your urine several times a day and see how your acidity fluctuates up and down, you start to see a pattern with yourself. You know, drinking a soda can raise your acidity, get you down into the 6s. There's a lot of foods that are acidic by their own nature, and that's how to find out where you're at. And this is the stuff to get you back where you belong. Baking soda will kill fungus and viruses. It's a great cold cure. I ran across this a couple of years ago. Take some baking soda and Lugol's iodine. And what you do is at the first signs of being sick, you do the same mix like it says on the box. Half a teaspoon of bicarbonate in a glass of water, stir it up real good, make sure there's no powder. So that's why you're stirring it real good with a spoon. And you add 4 drops of the Lugol solution. Stir that in, belt it down. Do that 6 times over the course of the first day, 4 times over the course of the second day, and 2 times over the course of the third day, and cold is gone. I'm telling you, it works. I've done it twice, and both times it worked for me the first day. Like I said, spread out over the course of the first day 6 different times. Adding a few drops of the Lugol solution, belt it down. and it just kills colds. Uh, Personal experience twice, and fantastic. Um, Again, colds, viruses, they don't do so well in an alkaline environment, and that's why it works so darn good. And of course, the iodine is going to help your immune system knock out the rest of it. Um, another Next, I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this. Vitamin D3, 5,000 IU. Um, this is sunshine in a jar. The reason why we have cold and flu seasons is because come November, December-ish, you're not out, the days are short, you're fully dressed. When you are outside, you're kind of hibernating in your castle, so to speak. You go to work, you're in the dark, you're under fluorescent lights, this and that. By the time you get out of work, it's dark out again on the drive home, so you're not getting crap of sunshine. Sunshine makes D3. Now, D3 is not really a vitamin, it's more like a hormone, and that's the one that does all your repairs. So if you got stuff like psoriasis and that kind of thing, and you start taking D3, some of the books say 5,000 international units a day per 100 pounds. So if you got D3, that's 5,000 IU per pill, and you weigh, say, 150 pounds, so you would take 2 a day, and so on. If you weigh 225, 250 pounds, you take 3 a day. And it'll kind of make you bulletproof against colds and flu. But it'll also start doing some really wonderful stuff inside. Repairs will be made. Will it happen overnight? No, it won't. But it will come. You'll find good things happening after a couple of months of doing that. Last but not least, honey. Again, I'm not suggesting this brand. It just happens to be what I happen to have on the shelf. But a neat thing about honey is if you got a cut and you got nothing else to put on it and it's getting infected, put honey on it. That's right. Put some honey on a cut or burn and it'll heal quite fast. Why? I don't know. I've also done that with table sugar, good old-fashioned Domino's table sugar, dry sugar. I read a paper years ago about some nurses in an old age home were using good old-fashioned table sugar to heal bed sores. Apparently they pour it into the sore, cover it lightly with a bandage, change it out 4 or 5 times a day because the sugar will draw the healing fluids from your body up through this bed sore and cause healing. They claim that viruses and bacteria cannot live in that sweet environment. I don't understand why, but I've personally tried it on a few cuts and stuff a long time ago, and it did do the trick. Had a friend at work who was a cook and diabetic. His cat scratched him. He'd been in and out of the doctors for several weeks because being diabetic, you don't heal so well. And they they ran him through all the standard issue antibacterial creams and stuff to make the infection go away, but nothing seemed to be helping. So I happened to be telling him about it, and I says, "Listen, try putting sugar on it." And the guy looked at me like I was some kind of a freaking nutcase, and well, I'm a diabetic. I said, "You're not eating it, stupid." I says, "Try it. Put some on your skin, put a light Band-Aid on it, and see what happens." So he did. Ran into him a few days later, and I says, "How are you making out with that? Did you try it?" He says, "Yeah, I did." And he says, "It went away." I said, "Cool." He says he told his doctor about it, and his doctor looked at him like he was some kind of nutcase, and yeah, whatever. Hey, it worked. That's all. One other thing. This stuff, and I don't want to be pointing out any particular brand. This happens to be the one I use. This is great for aches and pains. You spray it on your skin, rub it on, let it soak in. I used to have very arthritic knees and stuff, and now not so much. I spray it on my hip every day because sometimes my hip has a tendency to act up. I don't have pain. You need magnesium as much, if not more, than calcium. If you have low magnesium, your calcium has a tendency to take over and calcify your cells, which is not a good thing. You can pour some of this in your bath, soak in it. It's just wonderful stuff. If you have, from what I've read, heart problems like palpitations, that kind of thing, this stuff will calm that down. Now, while I'm thinking of it, if you start supplementing with all this stuff after you've done some homework, and you happen to be on some meds like beta blockers for blood pressure and whatever they give you for, say, sugar problems, diabetic problems, over time, over the next few months, you will find, and you need to pay attention to this, that your medicines have become too strong for you. This is a bad thing if you're not paying attention. So if you're going to start supplementing with all this stuff and you're going to start seeing some wonderful repairs happen, you need to pay attention to your meds. For instance, if you're on beta blockers for high blood pressure, well, in a couple, 3 months, say you're taking 100 milligrams, that will become too strong for you. And you need to see the doctor and make sure that what you're taking is dropped down to a strength that is not too much. Because as your body starts healing itself, these meds will become too strong. So what was good for probably the last 10 years, say 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams or whatever you're taking, may only need about 50 milligrams after a couple of months of doing this stuff. So word to the wise, pay attention to your meds. They will become too strong for you over time as your body makes repairs. I'm going to do a part 2 to this. Maybe make it more focused. All of this stuff you can get on Amazon at your local grocery store, pharmacy. Amazon's a good source. I wouldn't bother ordering baking soda from Amazon because you can just buy this stuff anywhere. And remember, stay away from the no-name brands, store brands. Spend the 5 or 10 cents more and get the good stuff right here. Arm & Hammer. Been around forever. Great quality control. Great antacid. Great for sour stomach. Read the box. Do your research. Just do a search on baking soda on YouTube. Get a lot of links to baking soda and cancer cures, baking soda, stomach problems, blah, blah, blah. There's some great books on Amazon that deal with bicarbonate soda, which is the same thing as baking soda. There's books on Amazon for the wonders of magnesium. Oh, one thing about magnesium oil, I don't know why, but you can put it on the same spot for 2 or 3 months straight. Just feels like you sprayed water on it. And one day you put it on, it'll sting like crazy. And it'll sting for a good half hour too. But if it bothers you that much, rinse it off, and the sting goes away. Why it does that, don't know. Maybe your pores were more open that day, or it feels like you're rubbing salt into a wound. But this stuff works great. Alright, YouTube. Sorry for being such an amateur on this. Be well, be happy. And like I said, none of this stuff spoils. When you have your baking soda, best way to store it is you get an old pickle jar. It's well rinsed. Pour the entire contents of the box in there and close the cover. That way it's not absorbing fish odors and everything else, and when you go to use it, it'll be as fresh as the day you brought it home in the box. This stuff doesn't get old, that I know of. it will get old in the cardboard box, and it will actually get chunky over time too, because it'll absorb humidity and stuff like that. So start in an old pickle jar. Glass jars are the best, or you can use a canning jar, and it's glass. That'll keep the humidity out and the odors out and anything else. So worth it a wise. This would be just very wise to have on the shelf for bad times that are bound to come. Stockpiling antibiotics and stuff, they all have a shelf life. If you don't know what you're doing with them, you can do more harm than good. Again, treating cuts, infections, stuff, there you go. That's my go-to. That, Iodex, Magnesium can be used to treat sores, that sort of thing too. If you have skin irritations and stuff like that, put 1 or 2 boxes of baking soda in your bathtub, stir it in real good, and soak. It'll alkalize you through transdermal. That means through your skin. It'll help clean up some rashes, that kind of thing on your skin. Wonderful stuff. I'm going to have to make a part 2 to this. Thanks for watching, and sorry for being such an amateur. Have a good day.